Okay, well, hello everybody. Thank you very much for having us. We'd hoped to be able to do this talk to you all face to face because of all the fun and games around the pandemic. That's not possible. So we are delivering this talk to some of you online live, and we are delivering this talk to others of you online but recorded. But we're very glad to be with you in one way or another, either way. So my name is Ellie. With me is Neil, who is going to say hello to you in a moment. He just gave you a little wave if you can see him. We're both volunteers with the Samaritans, and I'm going to talk more about the Samaritans before Neil tells us all what we're going to talk about generally today. So before we get going, just a couple of minutes on who we are. You may already know a little bit about the Samaritans. You may know that we listen to people who are having a difficult time in their life. People can get stressed and sometimes feel overwhelmed with unhappiness. They may be struggling to cope with life. They may even be thinking about suicide. It can help enormously to talk to a sympathetic person away from family and friends, someone who will just listen. That's what Samaritans do. We help people who are going through a difficult time by listening to them and helping them to explore their feelings. We're probably best known for answering phone calls, but there's lots of different ways that people can talk to us, and we'll give you a few more details on those at the end of this talk. We've been around for over 65 years, and there are more than 20,000 volunteers, so there's quite a lot of us. We're there for anyone, whoever they are, whatever they are going through, day or night, 365 days a year. Your local branches are Cheltenham and Gloucester. Neil and I are both from the Gloucester branch. Usually you can actually pop into the branch to have a face-to-face chat with us. Because of the pandemic, we can't do that at the moment, but people can still contact us by phone, email, or even letter. So that's enough about who we are. I'm going to hand over Neil to say hello to you properly and to tell us what we're going to focus on in the next 20 minutes or so. Over to you, Neil.
All right, thanks, Ellie. Hi, my name's Neil, and as Ellie said, I also volunteer as a Samaritan. So before I get into detail, I'm just going to give you a quick heads up as to some of the things we're going to cover in the next 20 minutes or so. So first off, we will talk about emotional well-being or emotional health and what we mean by that. Then we'll take a look at how we cope when things change in our lives and how these changes influence our feelings and our behavior. And finally, the importance of talking about what's really going on in our lives and how that talking can help us when we're struggling to cope, and where to go for support when things get difficult. Despite what you might think, however it looks from the outside, everybody's life has its ups and downs. Even in a single ordinary day, we can experience a whole range of emotions. We wake up late, so we're in a rush for college. And we're worried about our gran who's really ill in hospital. But we make the bus in time, phew, and we're looking forward to playing in the match that afternoon. But as luck would have it, we've forgotten our kit, so no game and the rest of the team are mad at us. But that evening, your mates have got tickets for the weekend, so all is good. A day full of emotional turmoil, a day full of ups and downs, worry, relief, anticipation, disappointment, pleasure. But it's nothing too serious, nothing that we can't normally just deal with. But of course, there are a ton of other emotions we can experience during any normal day. You know, we can be happy, full of joy, confident, cheerful. Sometimes that can shift into being a little over the top or even manic. But we can also be sad, cross, tearful, nothing feeling right, worried, or maybe lonely, maybe tired, have no energy or interest in anything at all. And sometimes we can feel angry, irritable at everybody and anything, and we just want to shout. Other days, we can feel hopeless, despairing, days when nothing feels worth doing. And we feel like failures, that we let people down, that we're no good at anything, or we just wake up feeling anxious and we feel anxious all day. That's a lot of feelings, potentially a lot to deal with when you're just trying to get on with your life. So, what do I mean by emotional health? Well, having good emotional health is not the same as being happy all the time. No, it's much more about a sense of well-being, an ability to cope with daily ups and downs that life throws at you, an ability to deal with all the possible emotions that you may experience as your world shifts and changes around you. Emotional health is not to deny your emotions, but to acknowledge them and find a way to deal with them. But I'm now going to hand you back to Ellie, who's going to speak about what happens when our emotional health is out of balance, when our sense of well-being has deserted us. Okay, Ellie.
Thanks, Neil. Part of our emotional health is about dealing with stress. Everybody experiences stress. Stress is normal. Everyone has their own stress bucket, if you will, that can fill up with different things. And these stresses are going to be different for each of us. They might include things going on at home, maybe relationships with friends or a boyfriend or girlfriend, social media pressures and worries, body image, peer pressure, exam stress, or anything else that bothers us. Right now, I expect a lot of us are feeling really stressed out about the pandemic and all the different things that brings with it. When someone's not coping and their stress bucket is overflowing, they have a horrible feeling of being overwhelmed by it all. So how can we stop our own personal stress bucket from overflowing? We can use coping strategies to help us prevent our stress bucket from filling up. Coping strategies are techniques, things that you can do to help reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed by the things around you over which you have no control. Helpful coping strategies help us to open the tap on our emotional bucket to prevent emotional buildup and overflow. Sometimes we mistake unhelpful coping strategies as helpful, but actually they can just fill up our emotional bucket even more. And we'll talk about a couple of examples of those shortly. We'll start to think about the signs that you might see if someone is struggling to cope. Lots of the time, people may not look much different, even if they're carrying around a huge emotional burden. Some people are better than others at hiding it if they're unhappy, but ignoring the problem or bottling it up isn't good. Take a second and try and get a picture in your mind of how you think you look when you're not feeling so great. Would the people around you really know how you felt? Maybe, maybe not. But sometimes you can tell if someone's having a hard time, and we'll take a look at some of these signs. Some will be easier to see than others, and different people may show that they're struggling to cope in different ways. Some people might have a change in mood. They might be more anxious, irritable, panicky, sad, tearful, angry, or just feeling numb to emotion. They might find it hard to concentrate. They might be struggling to cope with everyday things and tasks. They might have a sudden disinterest in things that they previously enjoyed, things that they used to like doing with their friends. They might show changes in what they do on social media, start posting depressive statements, following or liking things that are linked to suffering, self-harm, or even suicide. They might seem tired all the time and stop seeing friends, turn down opportunities to do things and cancel plans. They might find it hard to think clearly or seem restless and agitated a lot. Some people use alcohol or drugs to help cover up their feelings. That might be drinking more at social occasions to cope with anxiety, smoking weed after school to relax. They might seem burnt out and exhausted, or suddenly stop looking after their appearance in the way that they used to before. Sometimes basic hygiene tasks like showering, brushing teeth, wearing clean clothes can just feel like such an effort that it's overwhelming. Some people stop eating or start eating more than they used to. And some people start to isolate, sitting alone, spending more time in their bedroom at home, not interacting with their family, maybe avoiding college or school, especially if they're feeling particularly anxious or low. That might temporarily feel better because they don't have to engage with other people. But in the long run, getting behind on work, feeling distant from friends, that can be an example of something that's an unhelpful coping strategy. So let's look at some things that might help. We've talked about what it can look like when someone's not coping and their stress bucket is overflowing. And as Neil said, being emotionally healthy is not the same as being happy all the time. Everybody does feel bad at times. But on the other hand, if it feels like everything is going wrong, college, parents, friends, health, it's really important to recognize that weird sensation of beginning to feel overwhelmed by it all. And if that happens, it's really important to ask for help. And the good news is that there are lots of ways of getting better at coping. Some of these you can do yourself, and some you need others involved too. And we're going to take a look at some of the things that we can do on a day-to-day basis to help keep us emotionally healthy. Some of these you might find that you do yourself already. Relaxation techniques. Some people find that practicing mindfulness, controlled breathing, or other ways of practicing relaxing can really help to reduce anxiety and stress and clear your mind. Healthy eating. Eating a balanced diet can help you to maintain a good mood. Exercise as well. When you exercise and move your body, you release hormones in your brain called endorphins, and these actually boost your mood and make you feel better. Having time to yourself can give you a moment to relax and reflect on how you feel. Scheduling in something that you enjoy. If we're struggling with our mental health, we might stop doing the things that we used to enjoy, which can make us feel even worse. Having something in your calendar, in your diary to look forward to can really help. Staying connected with other people and trying not to isolate ourselves. Doing something for someone else. Evidence shows that helping other people actually helps your own mental health and well-being. It can help reduce stress and improve your emotional well-being and sometimes even your physical health. Sometimes some people need professional help. This might be going to see your college counselling service or talking to your doctor about what services are available. There are lots of different options for support available if you need them. And the big one, the one that goes in the middle of this nice matrix that we've got on the screen, is, of course, talking about it, talking to somebody that you trust. And Neil's going to tell us a little bit more about that now. Over to you, Neil.
Thanks. Sometimes when things are getting on top of us, when we're feeling overwhelmed by life, for whatever reason, talking to another person can really help. It gives us a chance to sort through our feelings, to get things into perspective, and maybe help us to start thinking about how to move forward. You know what it's like when you're worried about something and it just goes round and round in your head and you can't stop thinking about whatever it is. But talking with another person, sharing your worries, putting it out there, seeing it for what it is, can really take the pressure off, really help to relieve the stress and leave you feeling not quite so alone, maybe ready to go back out into the world a bit stronger, a bit more resilient, a bit more able to deal with what's going on. Sometimes, when something is really worrying us, we just need to be heard, to be listened to. But deciding to talk to another person can be a big step. That can be quite daunting. You know, it can feel really embarrassing to let someone know that you're not coping. So who should you talk to? I mean, it could be a friend or a member of your family or perhaps someone at college. But most importantly, it needs to be someone you can really trust. Somebody who won't share your thoughts and feelings with anybody else. Someone who will really listen to you and take you seriously. And that's where Samaritans come in. We are here 24/7 on the end of a phone to listen to people who are going through a tough time. We are someone you can talk to, someone you can trust when you're finding it difficult to cope and you don't feel that you have anyone else you can turn to. We are here to listen to you, and anything you say to us will be heard in confidence. Whatever you want to talk about, we won't judge you or try to give you advice or try and fix what's going on. But we will listen to you and support you as you try to find your way through whatever's troubling you. So as I said, we at Samaritans are here to listen to you, so you need never to feel completely alone. What do I mean by listening? To listen well is to be there for the other person, to really listen to what they have to say and try not to interrupt them with our own thoughts and feelings. It's worth saying that you don't have to be a Samaritan to listen well. But what can sometimes happen, say if we go to a friend, someone we trust because we're upset about something and we're hoping we could talk about it, without meaning to, that friend can sometimes take over. You know, they try to reassure us or start telling us, hey, it doesn't matter, or don't be silly, you're fine. Or hey, that happened to me too. And then they start to tell you about their story. Actually, you just wanted to talk. And all these things can stop us from talking, from saying what's really going on for us. The most important thing we can do for someone who is struggling to cope is to give them time and to really listen to what they have to say. So if a friend does seem to be having problems and you feel like you want to help them, try asking open questions. It can be a good way to encourage someone to talk. A closed question, like, have you had a good day, might just receive a brusque no. But an open question like, hey, how's your day going? Give someone a chance to talk about what their day has really been like. How long have you felt like this? Is another good open question. I'm sure you can think of loads more. If you do decide to ask a friend what's going on, don't be put off by a negative response or a quick, hey, I'm fine, okay? They may need time to pluck up courage to speak about whatever is troubling them. So be brave. Take time. Really give them a chance to open up. If they do start to talk, try repeating their words back to them so that they know you've understood them. I don't know, something like, what, you're saying things are really bad at home? Or you feel no one likes you? Or, hey, so exams are stressing you out? Just acknowledging their feelings by saying something like, I don't know, that must be really difficult for you, can stop them thinking that they're stupid and that what they're worried about isn't real and that it matters. Sometimes simply saying, go on, or hey, tell me more about that, can encourage them to keep talking. To listen well to someone, we need to show that we care about them. We need to have patience, as it may take time and many attempts before they're ready to open up. So try not to criticize or blame them or anyone else. Try not to become distracted while they're talking, or they may feel they don't really matter, that their issues aren't important. And use open questions, like I said before. Just asking someone, how are you doing, can make a big difference to how they're feeling. It means that somebody has noticed that something's not quite right, and maybe they won't feel quite so alone. And importantly, don't feel you have to fill the silence. Be brave, give them time to talk, and mainly, just listen. All right, I'm going to pass you back to Ellie now, who will give you a quick summary of what we've talked about.
Thanks, Neil. So we're coming to the end of our little talk today. Just to summarise, this is really about taking care of yourself, taking care of your own well-being and your emotional health. If you're constantly under pressure and nobody knows about it, just one or two more things going wrong might leave you feeling overwhelmed. And it's really important to talk to somebody if that happens. Even if a problem cannot be solved by just talking, sharing how you feel can be a huge help and can really help you feel like the weight has been lifted off your shoulders. And as we said earlier, you can always talk to Samaritans about whatever it is that is getting to you. If you have any questions about what Neil and I have talked about today, and you're watching this as a recording, then you can email us those questions. The email address is on the screen. It's glosscol.sams.questions@gmail.com. And someone from Cheltenham and Gloucester branch will be manning that inbox for the next couple of weeks. If you would like to talk to Samaritans about your feelings and you would like emotional support from us and you'd like us to listen to whatever is going on for you, then you can contact our helpline. And here are the details on the screen for that. You can call us on 116 123. It's a free phone line and it doesn't show up on the phone bill. You can also email us at joe@samaritans.org. You can even write a letter. The address is up on the screen. Writing a letter might feel a little bit old school, but we will write you back. This year, hopefully, we're going to have online chat available as well. And you can find all these contact details on our website. Thank you very much for listening to our talk today. We really appreciate your time.